joining me for the chat, I'm delighted to say, is Philip Ingram, MBE, former senior military intelligence officer, always joins us on a Thursday. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Look, so much to get through.
Is there? There's nothing going on.
Every day. Do you know what I love about this job? People say, well, you basically do the same thing every day. Oh, no, we really are. We have something new every single day to discuss.
It's been such a long year so far.
Yeah, don't. It's the 15th. I mean, we're not even halfway. Well, just almost halfway through the January. I know. You can tell by looking out the window. Miserable again today. It was lovely yesterday. It was all chirpy yesterday. We've actually got a guest coming up, a Conservative MP, Nick Timothy, who has played an absolute blinder pushing this story forward and keeping it in the public eye. So we won't stay on it too long in this section because we've got a lot more to talk about. But the West Midlands Police Chief, Craig Guilford, is refusing to resign. He may well be gone by the end of the day, or certainly by tomorrow, even after a report, an independent report from the HMI Inspector for Constabulary, exposed basically lies and cover-ups by him and his senior officers about the Maccabi Tel Aviv fan ban, that massacre as Aston Villa in Birmingham last November. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood, unprecedented in the last 20 years or something, said she has no confidence in this Chief Constable, wants him to go, but she has no powers to sack him. I think a lot of us are quite surprised by that. This is under a law brought in some 25 years ago. They're going to change the law on that, which I think is very wise. Yep. The only person who's got the power to sack this guy is the local police and crime commissioner, who of course helped appoint the Met chief, the West Midlands chief. So I'm going to guess the pressure's going to be on him. He's a local Labour guy, to do the right thing and get rid of him. And if he's got any sense, this Craig Guilford guy will fall on his sword and not make even more of a beep of himself than he already has. But shameless is the front page headline in the Daily Mail, and that is it is. His behaviour is shameless.
That sums it up completely. But it's across the board. It's chiefs of different organisations who may be let down by their staff, but if they're let down by the staff, that's then the culture at the top that's checking. He is responsible to check and see what he's been briefed is accurate.
And if they've done something wrong, sack them.
Correct. And until people start taking responsibility, and he's symptomatic of what there is, but then, as I said last week, there's the defence chiefs, there's all the rest of it. Yeah. People need to start taking responsibility for what their staffs are doing if they're at the top.
And this is across the board in the public sector. We've got this issue, hasn't it?
And then he has sat down and misled Parliament, whether it be deliberate or by accident.
Let's call it, he's lied.
Yeah,
he lied about the reasons for the fan ban. He lied about the evidence. He lied about the lies. He covered it up. He lied. We need to use the correct terminology.
And therefore, that is misconduct in a public office.
Exactly.
He should be arrested and charged and prosecuted for misconduct in a public office. Yeah. Let's forget about going through the Police and Crime Commissioner and everything else. Let his own force nick him and do them.
Oh, absolutely. And also, I've been saying for weeks now, if they're willing to lie and cover up about this, what else are they willing to lie and cover up about?
Every crime they've investigated. That sets the culture.
If I were a lawyer right now, and I'm representing any, I would be going to every single person convicted while this guy's been Chief Constable and say, we've got a strong case for appeal because we've already established that the top guy lies and his top people lie.
The culture within his whole force is one of making stuff up.
But this is the thing. It's not just about this one guy, and it's not just about this one football match. This is about a police force, the public sector largely, but police who are supposed to police us with fear or favour, who are supposed to have a monopoly on violence in this country, the only people legally allowed to use violence other than in self-defence within the borders of this country, that they are not policing without fear or favour. They're doing the bidding of, let's face it, an Islamist extremist mob, militant Islamists, who in Birmingham basically said there's going to be trouble. Mafiosa style, it would be a shame if a load of those Jewish Israeli fans got attacked, wouldn't it? Wink, wink, what are you going to do about it? And they did their bidding. And instead of arresting the people making the threats and putting the police there to allow people to go about their law-abiding business, they basically banned Israelis, banned Jews from attending that football match. This is unacceptable. This is beyond anything that we should allow to happen in this country.
Yeah, unacceptable is not strong enough to describe it.
I can't use some of the language I want to use.
Yeah, and the fact that he's trying to defend himself instead of going, yep, you've caught me, that's it. I'm gone.
He doesn't even think he's done anything wrong.
No. But he should be saying, as to bring confidence back into the force, my behaviour doesn't reflect the professional capability of us. And police officers at the lowest level in West Midlands, and I live in the West Midlands, are fantastic individuals. They do a fantastic job. They've looked after me whenever I've needed to call them. Very, very well indeed. But as you get up the chain in every government organisation, you find more and more of this.
You could possibly offer is, I've been under pressure, I've been blackmailed by these people, and they threatened me and my family or something. That's the only, literally, that's the only defence.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that's happened.
It'll be veiled. It'll be thinly veiled. I'm sorry,
Oh, I'd say
if one of the people who sat on the panel to appoint this guy, as we now know, as chief executive of Green Lane Mosque, where they have had preachers turn up who say basically not really an issue, as a last resort to physically assault your wife because she does something wrong, leaving the house without your permission. I mean, my husband would like me to leave the house more often.
He's giving you infinite permission.
Go. But I mean, it's just extraordinary. I'd love to hear your reaction to this story, because this blows my mind that even that it took this long for there to be a loss of confidence by the Home Secretary. Give us a call, 0344 499 1000. Text the word talk in your message to 87222. Get in touch with us on X at TalkTV. Calls are charged at the national rate, and text obviously cost one standard network rate message. Again, I don't think this is just about Maccabee Tel Aviv. I don't think this is just about Craig Guildford. I don't think it's just about Birmingham. I think this is a nationwide problem where the police are under the thumb and doing the bidding of certain so-called community leaders, self-appointed, and we have a serious problem of two-tier policing, and it is simple as that. Let's also talk about two-tier local elections, as most of the main party leaders head up to Scotland today to start. They're really going for their campaign in Scotland, because we've got elections in May, not just in Scottish Parliament, but also the Welsh Assembly. We've also got local elections across the country. Not as many as you might expect, though. We've already seen a number that have been postponed. It was due to happen. We've now got a load more. Almost 4 million people are going to be denied the vote in May who should have had a chance to vote their local elections. The government is expected to cancel at least 27 council elections. Hundreds of councillors basically will be in office. A number of them will be in office for 7 years without being accountable to the people. And basically this is extraordinary, an obscure clause in the 2000 Local Government Act, which gives ministers the power to delay votes, in extremis, if there is any reason. Okay, war. During wartime, fair enough. Let's not, we've got stuff to do, people. Pandemic. Now, I don't even think it was acceptable that it was the elections were cancelled during the pandemic. There's no reason why. I mean, the American presidential election went ahead during lockdowns. They managed to do it. So they don't allow the election to be moved or to be delayed. That's a very good thing, I think. But the idea that we're having a reorganisation and the bureaucracies can't really handle it, and so we're not sure we can get our act together to divert resources for election. I'm really sorry. Local elections are not to be decided by incompetent bureaucrats or incumbent councillors. It's mostly Labour councils that have gone, we'll do this. I think one Tory, seven more Labour councils expect to join the 20 already doing this. Some are going to cancel, elections second year running. This is an absolute outrage. I mean, this is proper gerrymandering, vote fixing, delaying of accountability and democracy, basically for the benefit of the Labour Party. It's outrage.
Local government minister should resign over this as well, because it does not take an awful lot to reorganise the councils. You look at the end of the Second World War, they reorganised a government, cross-party government into political parties again, and ran a general election within months of the end of the Second World War.
I mean,
there is no excuse for this whatsoever.
This thing, just full stop. There you are, done. That's the issue, isn't it? Can we talk international affairs? Donald Trump says the killings in Iran have stopped. He's told that they have stopped. Given that we actually difficult to get quite a lot of information, I'm sure the Americans and the
Americans have a good idea.
They're getting a lot of what's going on. We know that there was supposed to be that first execution of somebody, supposedly tried, not in any meaningful sense in our country tried. And the Tehran apparently said there will be no execution. They have no plans for executions. We've got this message from the American president that he was going to take action and send help, and then people are saying, it could be up to 20,000 people have already been been killed, thousands, tens of thousands more threatened with execution. When are you going to bring that help? It's going to be too little too late at this rate. We've seen embassies closed, we've got travel warnings, a lot of build-up of resources, military resources in that region. Do you think he is going to send any help? And do you think it's true what he claims, that he's been told reliably there are no more shootings? Or is that just because people are too scared to go onto the street now?
Well, no, there are people still on the street. I think the number of killings probably has gone down, but you get waxing and waning in any protest that's going on. And I think what Donald Trump's doing here is he's giving the Iranian regime an off-ramp.
Okay.
When it comes to the threats that go in. So he's gone in with a very, very big stick. He's wielded it.
And with credibility,
exactly,
because of Venezuela.
With real credibility and all the rest of it. And now he's saying, oh, you seem to be cooperating. Thank you, I'm going to put the stick by my side. But at the same time, we're seeing him closing the embassy. We're seeing UK closing their embassy. We're seeing them evacuating troops from the military base in Qatar. We're seeing a build-up of military capability around the area. So he's getting an even bigger stick behind his back, ready to go if he needs to use it.
And this is about, this is proper international diplomacy, which is speak softly but carry a big stick. So the threat is credible. Yes. What could he actually do to help those protesters? Because that's what we've been trying to debate all week.
That's the real difficulty. From a military perspective, it's extremely difficult, because what it could do is stimulate an even greater response against the very people he's trying to protect. He could do a range of things. He could do something that's a demonstration. He could, attack the nuclear facilities again, which have been destroyed.
How does that?
It doesn't. It's a demonstration. It's saying, I've got capability. Your air defences can't protect you against it. I can hit you as individuals. Yeah. He could go for Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps headquarters or military capabilities. He could sink a couple of their ships in their ports. He could ultimately decide that he wants to take the Grand Ayatollah out and to.
I think that'd be a good thing. Other than the fact, who do you get after that? It's likely they're just they're all religious lunatics.
Exactly, and we're assuming that the Shah of Iran or his successor is sitting waiting outside to go in and form the government. But we're
bearing in mind that was. I don't think that's the Great White Hope, is it? We were talking about a formerly. The Crown Prince wasn't in power; he left in '79, but along with his dad. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a nasty autocratic regime. It's not like not as bad as the mullahs, but come on.
But one that provided a completely secular environment which didn't oppress women and allowed.
It didn't oppress women, but dissent. It wasn't as bad as what they've got now.
And remember, in the 60s and 70s, lots of other countries around the world were exactly like that. So the world has moved on as well as everything else. Yeah. But we can't assume automatically that that's what's going to take over. But
also the key thing here is when Iran says, OK, we're not going to have executions. Well, we won't be told. Normally what happens in Iran, this is the extraordinary thing, is people are executed. Or if they're shot, parents and family members, to get their bodies back, they've been told you've got to have a private burial. Otherwise it's going to be a group burial. You won't even know where your kid is. And they have to pay for the bullet that shot them.
Of course they do. Yes.
This is so sick.
Yeah, 55 pence. They're not expensive.
Is that what they charge them?
I don't know.
But but the key thing is, with inflation, it could be like 4 million, in the local currency.
No, they'll just do it quietly. That's the thing. People will just disappear, and that's what happens in that regime.
But this is the issue: is they could do anything. And anyway, okay, so they don't execute. This 26-year-old shopkeeper, he was due to be executed first. So they don't execute him. They just keep him in prison for the rest of his life and torture him. Oh, okay, we're fine with that.
Yeah, but the other thing is about toppling a government. The West does not have a good history when it comes to toppling governments in the Middle East.
A lot of our audience.
You look at Saddam Hussein, and he was a very, very, very nasty piece of work, but he kept an awful lot of other very, very nasty and
same reason we keep the Saudis in charge, because what is the alternative? Look, we've got a guest coming up, say Nick Timothy. He's been looking down, sort of just checking when he's going to be available. Just one more topic I want to bring to you, and it's not the biggest thing in the world, but Elon Musk has clearly had a big climb down on X over sexualized AI deepfakes after a big backlash and a threat to close down X. That was an unnecessary threat to make him very sinister from his government. But as someone who's had an AI deepfake of me put into a bikini, although weirdly not my body, not my hands, which is weird, and not my face. but clearly a shot of that I put on. It's unacceptable. It's happening to a lot of young women. It's clearly done. It's not done as in the way people do it, like say to Keir Starmer. They do it as a joke. You're mocking politicians. Different. It's done to denigrate and to humiliate women and sexualise women. I tell you what, they say they're going to stop it. I was able, not online, but using Grok on my phone, I was able to create an image of Craig Guildford, the West Midlands Chief Constable, in a bikini this morning.
Excellent.
Although the first time I said, put the West Midlands Chief Constable into a bikini, and they put some woman I've never seen before in my life into the bikini, and then I said, that's not Craig Guildford. I mean, AI is rubbish.
Yeah, it is.
But I've got an image. I'm not going to put it on there because I don't think people should be sharing fake images of people that are sexualised.
The good thing about this is the people that are going to deal with inappropriate content on platforms are the platform providers.
Yeah.
Not governments, not legislation, and therefore forcing Musk to do this by threatening him with legislation is a good way of actually getting them to wake up and realise they have responsibility.
My main thing is that it's all just sort of tacky sort of teenage boy thing, which has been allowed by him. But also, I mean,
like Starmer's comments in Parliament.
Yeah, it was disgusting yesterday. But the commentary stuff was just so tacky. The free speech people arguing like, oh, this is outrageous.
No,
it's like, guys, this is not the hill to die on. Anyway.